Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today, I am going to explain my thoughts and opinions about commercial mountaineering of Mount Everest. For nearly 20 years, high snow mountains climbing business has become a fashion of exploration in the world. In fact, it is a newly developing profession. Numerous outdoor players and rock climbing fans think that commercial climbing brings many positive results, which include receiving more safe measures to catch the peaks, and developing the local economy, and so on. However, the modern climbing industry also has wreaked more problems for local people and environment, etc. Mountaineering participators begin to discuss real meanings of the modern climbing more and more. Even though commercial climbing brings several benefits in the exploration, I think that limiting climbing business's development is more important than improve it currently. First of all, commercial climbing business has already conflicted with local religion and tradition. For example, Mount Everest has two sides of the climbing route, which the north side locates in the Tibet of China, and the south slope faces to the Sherpa region of the Nepal. In fact, people of the both sides believe the same religion called the Tibetan Buddhism. According to a documentary film Himalaya, Ladder to Paradise, the story explicitly mentioned that the Mount Everest is a holy mountain in their religion, and gods do not allow believers to conquer the summit of the holy Mount Everest. Climbing peak of the Mount Everest means all mountaineers are violating local traditions and beliefs. Unfortunately, local commercial climbing providers need to face a hard situation, that is, they betray their religion for earning money, but they cannot give up this difficult choice. Besides, Sherpa people believe that Tibetan Buddhism similarly who also experience the same dilemma more. There is another film that describes Sherpa praying to the gods before they climb the Mount Everest. All Sherpa mountaineers pray for forgiveness of the holy mountain and hope gods to help them coming back safely. As a result, reducing the commercial mountaineering should help local climbing workers and believers protecting their religion and tradition effectually. The second, commercial climbing business is the most dangerous industry. Local men are the first laborers in the mountaineering companies because of their inherent physical qualities in the highland. However, they still have to endure altitude anoxia and accidental avalanches, which are enough to lose lives or being disabilities. For instance, there was a documentary film that based on a real story to shoot. Sherpa 2015 recorded that the most dangerous avalanche on the south side of the Mount Everest. In the Everest climbing season of 2014, a position on the climbing route happened, a tragedy that killed 16 professional Sherpa high-altitude workers and climbing guides, which it was a big shock in the world. Therefore, the whole climbing season was failed, and all expeditions were cancelled in 2014. Moreover, depending on a journal that was the annual fatality rates by profession, which calculated the deaths per 100,000 full-time equivalents. The data show that US military in Iraq, 335, and Everest Sherpa, 4,053. This fatality statistics has proved risks of the commercial climbing much higher than military actions in the battleground. Thus, local governments need to control an amount of mountaineering in every climbing season, which lower rising of the death rates. The third, dark side of the mountains climbing business is different salary standard between Western works and locals. Being professional high-altitude workers, they provide high-risk and complex services for paying clients up, which include professional guiding, highland training assistance, high-altitude human beings transportation, and climbing material supply. But local employers just earn lower income compared to Western staffs. A public report about commercial climbing's salary that published in a famous outdoor magazine named The Outside. In the article, as a Western climber said that these climbers have been quick to point out the discrepancies in pay between Western guides, who make between $10,000 and $20,000 per expedition, and Sherpa guides, who typically make about $4,000 per expedition. As well, local mountaineering workers do not have any needful life insurance or health insurance for protecting accident. They have no methods and ideas to build themselves labor unions that enhance power to negotiate for fair jobs conditions with Western climbing companies. Actually, without reasonable salary and equal working protections, developing commercial climbing industry may not achieve more benefits. The fourth, mountaineering trash is a serious environmental and health problem in climbing area. For example, when Mount Everest climbing seasons were opened in Nepal, climbers made a significant amount of garbage on the base camp and route sides up to the summit, such as old cylinders, tents, tins, packets, and broken equipment. Besides, human feces have already become the major detriment of local health care and environmental pollution. As one news stated that Alton Byers, Director of Science and Exploration at the US-based Mountain Institute, told Vice News. At base camp, visitors annually produce about 12,000 pounds of human waste each year, which often ends up in the waterways that nearby villages rely upon, he said. The hazard of residents and animals, Mr. Byers had also stated, it's getting notorious, people getting sick from water contaminated by dumping human waste. Also, another well-known damage is climbers' dead bodies, which they all locate on high-altitude positions, and more than 200. Local mountaineering workers almost have no way to carry corpses going down from everywhere of the Mount Everest, because of no one willing to work in dead zone. Mount Everest has been celebrated for the tallest dump on the earth. If environmental protections could not take more actions for reducing commercial climbing sport, the highland pollution of the mountaineering might be harder to control. Last of all, modern mountaineering is going to lose real exploring spirit gradually. Early expeditions to the Mount Everest were focused on fundamental discoveries, geographic records, and testing extreme human abilities. All individual or group honors had based on the Raidisense's achievements. On the contrary, commercial climbing events have changed the meaning of the exploration nearly decade. People realized that personal vainglory or winning more sponsors will be a priority goal of the high-altitude expedition. According to a National Geographic reporter said that all debate about Everest revolves around two mainstays, the irresistible allure of the world's highest peak, and money. Besides, paying clients who are not real explorers definitely, without the help of Sherpa guides, it's nearly impossible for most climbers to scale Everest. In fact, climbing customers have the desires of conquering the Mount Everest, but locally high-altitude workers have to climb for supporting their own lives that may be against the humanitarian spirit. So limiting climbing business would help people to rebuild purer exploring culture. Opponents of limiting climbing industry's development realize that commercial mountaineering has more benefits, such as creating job opportunities for local people and improving regional economy. These viewpoints have some merit on the surface, but people want to make sure the truth of commercial climbing industry by extensive evidence. Most high-altitude climbers think that commercial climbing business brings many practical consequences for mountaineering areas, which include creating job opportunities for local people. However, the truth of commercial climbing jobs is mountaineering service who need to bear the highest risk of losing their lives. In fact, most savage mountains locate in poor regions where local young men are the economic kingpins of the families. If a local high-altitude worker loses own life in the climbing process, which it signifies his or her family will be broken badly. People cannot believe that maybe losing the life is a right choice for the individual career. Some commercial climbing supporters usually have a consensus which climbing business improves regional economy faster. They genuinely think that commercial mountaineering companies have provided excellent chances for developing the local tourism industry. Some one-sided economic surveys just showed income growth or gain data. But most people have no opportunity to know how higher costs can cover the local growth. Local governments calculate the increasing degree via taxes income. Unfortunately, statistic analyses about environmental cost, traditional evaluations, destruction, and inequality of salary all are significant challenges for weak local governments, which people cannot judge by unclear evidence. As a result, who can assert that commercial climbing industry is a better choice in mountaineering places? In conclusion, there is much well-known evidence to prove the limiting commercial climbing business is better for local people and the environment. Studies remind that negative influences of the commercial mountaineering could need to fix as soon as possible. International society should encourage and help local governments to limit commercial climbing industry's development in the Himalaya mountains.